Hey everyone, sorry for the slightly longer than usual start screen. I had a thing or two to take care of, but I'm good to go now, and it even gave us a chance to look at some of the new art on my art scroll. If you didn't get a chance to see it, you can either find it on Twitter or the VOD, but I'm very pleased at some of the gifts I've gotten recently. Thanks again to CC Hime and to Art TMW for some new cool art. I always enjoy seeing anybody's art, but it's always pretty special to get some gifts from other people in the community. Alright, let's go ahead and switch over to the gaming tab, and we will get started. Alright, greetings everyone, this is once again AIM, former Demon Duke, now returning to my hellish origins. Or I would say that, except there really isn't much hell in this story. It's actually mostly above world, but in a much nicer world than I typically live in, because it's one full of cute demon girls. The kind of place we all want to live in. Anyways, if you're new to this sort of game, it's going to be a visual novel. It's a fan game that was based on, I'm always probably pronouncing this name wrong, but Lucas Picores, creator of Helltaker. Based on their work, not like partnered or officially endorsed, but the creator seems very pleased with it, considering they've drawn several pictures of the original characters as well. So just imagine, that must be a great thing as a fan to see the creator of a series really embrace your work. Anyways, but yeah, it's been pretty fun. We've done 2 streams of it so far. It goes pretty quick, but it's a pretty lengthy game. Each of the girls has lots of dates to go on, and yeah, it's one that will probably keep us well past this stream as well. But we're going to start digging into those Chapter 3s, and I think there's still a couple of Chapter 2s left we didn't do either. Last time did end on slightly a sour note. I think my game crashed while I was doing the Lucifer story. But it's very easy to work back up to that point. Hopefully you'll enjoy watching it now if you didn't get to catch it the first time. Let's go ahead and load into it. Alright, I think I made a save right before the point where we got cut off. I'll kind of quickly recap exactly what's going on. Okay, so here we're back in hell with Lucifer. She said that if she's going to relocate to the Helltaker's house on a regular basis, she's going to need to clear out all of her things in hell, and so she's taken the Helltaker back to hell to help him carry some things. We get a look at some of the mundane aspects of their life nowadays, but we've also been getting a little hint of what the plot has to come. We're seeing some original characters start to appear, who seem to be stalking the Helltaker and others. Some of them even seem to have their own lives set up on the above world, such as we saw a poster featuring one of them as some sort of rock star or something. There's still a lot more to be revealed, and we're just getting to learn about those characters. But the other characters, like Lucifer here, are familiar, and this story really offers a way to kind of dig into their lives beyond Helltaker, as this author has imagined them. Alrighty, let's get back into it. I've never heard of Demon Sisters before. How did Melina and Zedrata come to be? Their origins are far from auspicious, as far as I am aware. Zedrata made quite the name for herself during Hell's more tumultuous years, but never enough to warrant serious attention or concern from the higher-ranking demons. And Melina. Next to nothing up until the old lords of Hell were overthrown. Not a single demon I've spoken to can attest to her existence. Once the new order was imposed, reports of a sour demon with an unhealthy lust for addictive mortal vices began circulating among the clerical demons. Interesting. How do most demons come to be, anyway? I believe the term best suited to describing the phenomenon to you would be gravity. Down here in hell, over thousands of years, emotions and impulses packed together, accruing more and more until finally birthing a brand new demon. Like calls to like, so most demons have demonstrable inclinations towards their founding feelings. Anger, laziness, deceit, ambition, all are foundational clay which a demon can be born. And what then? Are demons just born sharply dressed and consumed by their hungers? Fortunately, no. Many of us had a guiding hand to help us along the way. In the depths, hell, there is an immensely powerful demon who takes it upon herself to foster and shape the infant demon she comes across. Few demons make it very far without her helping hand. Her name is Lilith, but to the denizens of hell, she is known as the Mother Demon. Mother Demon? This I gotta see. She sounds fascinating. I wonder where she came from. The two of you spend the next hour or so engaged in speculation about the civil state of hell and how it compares to that of Earth. Eventually, if you wouldn't mind finishing up with the packing, I've an old friend to catch up with before we leave. You don't mind doing the last little bit, do you? Of course not. As you were then, I won't be away for long. Lucifer departs the room, leaving you to finish packing the papers into the briefcases. Before long, you stuff the last of the papers into the briefcase, forcing the lid shut with moderate effort. You look around the room. Lucifer has not yet returned. 5 minutes later, and still no sign of Hell's president. Unperturbed by her absence, you start peering down the various corridors, wondering what could be down them. As long as I don't go kicking any skeletons, surely she won't mind if I look around a little. Most of the rooms you travel through are scenes of hectic activity. Small imps struggle to staple gargantuan folders together, and a nearby printer snatches an unsuspecting succubus out of the air with a long, sticky tongue. Various break rooms dot the office, and inside you catch glimpses of the occasional demon or skeleton drinking tea brewed with a squirming bag of human souls. Interesting and inventive uses of human souls down here. You are unchallenged as you stride through the office, and while one or two lesser devils do try to catch your eye, the sight of the amulet around your neck proves sufficient to dissuade any unwanted attention. Several rooms later, you come across a peculiar facet of architecture. In an abandoned, run-down part of the castle, 2 massive obsidian doors stand. Bowed outward from within, it appears as though these doors have been damaged, trying to contain some immense force. The doors are ajar, and you very much doubt they could even fully close, given their degree of disfigurement. Might as well have a look inside. Stepping through the twisted doors, you find yourself in an enormous, devastated hall. Sulphurous air flows freely in and out of jagged holes torn through the walls. Looking around, you realize this place must once have been an audience chamber, a lavish room from where the denizens of hell must have come to pay tribute to their lords. Some massive explosion... Give me one moment. Sorry, got interrupted a little bit there. Give me just one moment, actually. I gotta take a short break. I know we just started. It's only been 13 minutes, but I do have to take care of something real quick. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Enjoy this BRB screen and the dulcet tones of Jim Rooster until I return. Sorry about that. Duty called. But I should be free for the rest of the stream. I should have probably taken care of that before the stream. Sorry about that. Okay, let's get back to it. Take a quick drink of water. Alright, when we left, the Helltaker had gone exploring, and he found Lucifer in this mysterious room behind double doors. Some massive explosion must have once, long ago, vaporized the room and its inhabitants. The mighty blast had bent the stone walls outward as easily as if they had been made of cloth, and tattered holes give passing views of the nightmare vista of hell. At the far end of the shattered hall, 4 black monoliths stand, massive thrones of ebony, untouched by the desolation that surrounds them. Among the base of these pillars lay strewn dozens upon dozens of broken tools. Kind of looks like unlimited sword works over here. Picks snapped in half at the handles, shovels, heads bent and cast aside. It looks as though someone has tried very, very hard to destroy these surviving relics. Standing before the thrones, head slumped, stands Lucifer, Queen of Hell. You begin to pick your way over the rubble, moving towards her. Lucifer, why are you all the way out here? I thought you were catching up with a friend. The Queen of Hell slowly turns, and you see something in her eyes that stops you dead in your tracks. Tears. She makes a muted gesture to a small polished stone slate propped on the ground before her. I am. It's been a long time since I last came to visit her. She gestures to the polished tablet. This stone marks the spot where my greatest ally paid the price for my naivete. She gave up her name and her identity to assist me in my ascent to the throne of hell. We were sick of seeing the former lords squander their power and influence on self-indulgences. We wanted to be better, to make things different, to make things right in hell. We mortals have a certain saying regarding paving roads with good intentions. With the strength of the High Prosecutor Justice, we challenged the ruling demon lords, primal incarnations of sloth, greed, gluttony, and wrath. After a terrible battle, we toppled them from their thrones onto the floor where the rest of us walked. Standing there above them, we truly believed we'd won a decisive victory. Flush with our idealism, we turned our backs on those we conquered. We showed them mercy. Her voice breaks, and tears begin to flow down her cheeks in earnest. Our mercy was repaid in blood and betrayal. As her last vicious action, the incarnation of wrath struck my friend through the heart, sacrificing her own power to take something precious from me. We couldn't kill them, so instead we broke them. We rent their demonic forms asunder and scattered them into the mortal world. We took all they had and cast them out. What happened to them after that, I do not know. Was it all you thought it would be? Lucifer turns to you, her gaze piercing, despite the tears still beating at the corners of her eyes. Of course it wasn't. There isn't a day that goes by that I'm not reminded of the price I paid for the power. It's one of the reasons I come here, to remind myself of the cost of ambition. May I pay my respects to her as well? Of course. As you kneel to pay your respects, you notice an epitaph, a small name etched onto the memorial. Wait, this name looks like... But how could that be? Something the matter? It's nothing. There must be a reason Lucifer omitted that demon's name from the tale. Whatever the full story is, you aren't likely to get it here, not now, and not from Lucifer. Let's return home, then. Once more, Lucifer opens up a portal and the two of you step through it, back to the mortal world. What in? As the house starts to take shape around you, something seems off. It looks kind of like some party bomb went off in the living area. Board games, pizza boxes, empty glasses litter the room. Judging from the bottles littering the floor, Justice even managed to coax down Melina from her room in order to join in the festivities. Reclining on the couch and thoroughly entwined with the sleeping bodies of Cerberus, Justice gives you a wink and puts a finger to her lips. You gesture at the mayhem surrounding you, and Justice gestures helplessly at the snoozing demons surrounding her. I've never owned pets, but what you always hear from pet owners is that there's nothing greater than snuggling up with your pet. And then there's those cursed pet owners whose pets just reject them and refuse to snuggle. Such a cursed existence. You hope that means she'll take responsibility for cleaning up come morning. You lean over and whisper in Lucifer's ear. I'm beat. I think I'll clock out for the night. You hold up the briefcases. Want me to drop these off in your room before I hit the hay? If you would, and thank you. Thank you for coming with me. And there we go. Lucifer's story complete. Let's see. I think Lucifer... That still leaves us Judgment to do the second story up. We'll go to her next. If you played the original Helltaker, you'll remember Judgment's boss fight. A skill check for some people. There are some people who have a really hard time with the puzzles and then don't find Justice that bad. I was sort of that way. And then there are people who are really good at the puzzles, but then once you have to do Justice and like the reflexes come into play, it's a whole different game for people. Of course, then there's plenty of people who the whole thing is easy for. So that had been a while. Oh, I'm sorry, let me start that over. Though it has been a while since you visited the Butterfly Conservatory with Judgment, that day remains at the forefront of your thoughts. While you originally intended to use it only as a way to engage with the High Prosecutor on one of her apparent interests, you feel yourself growing similarly intrigued by the fluttering creatures. This curiosity of yours drives you to peruse the literature that was handed out after the tour. According to the pamphlet, it is possible to donate butterfly snacks, tubs of sliced up fruit, to the conservatory as a way of helping out and getting involved. Thinking that this is the perfect way to satisfy your interest, you make your way to the kitchen. However, on the way you pass by Judgment's shut door. Looking at it reminds you of how that day ended. You lament the fact that you've seen precious little of her since then. To set the stage, last time, Judgment took an unhealthy interest in butterflies, by which she meant to spy on them because she thought they were plotting something. So she ended up learning more about butterflies, but at the end of the date, when everything seemed to be going well, she accidentally stepped on a butterfly, and she seemed to cover up her true feelings by sort of talking about destruction being in her nature. We got to see a bit of her sensitive side, I suppose. Should I try knocking on her door again? Couldn't hurt to try. Though hesitant, you decide to try one last time to get her attention. As you knock, you strain your ears to listen for signs of movement inside. Judgment? You hear nothing. I was just going to do some work in the kitchen, and I was wondering if you'd like to help out. Judgment? No response. Frowning, you return to the kitchen. Once there, you dig out a knife, cutting board, and every bit of fruit you have stashed away in the pantry. Then, after donning your apron, you set to work slicing everything up into small cubes. As you're working, you hear someone enter the kitchen at your back. Turning, you're surprised to see none other than Judgment standing in the doorway. Oh, hey there, Judgment. The demon stares back at you, wide-eyed and blushing. Hey, Taker. I was just looking for a snack. With a nod, you return your attention to the task at hand. Though you can hear Judgment rummaging around in the pantry behind you, you can feel her gaze burning a hole at your back. Soon enough, the clatter stops, and Judgment steps up next to you to peer around your shoulder. What are you doing? Making fruit medleys. The apostrophe there made me laugh. I don't know why. What for? Butterfly snacks. Oh, I see. Can I help? Wordlessly, you hand Judgment an apron and a knife, before slapping down a cutting board next to you and stepping aside to give the demoness room to work. Judgment approaches the countertop and removes her gauntlets. Then the two of you set to work chopping up fruit and dividing it up into dozens of plastic containers. Soon the tapping of your knives against the cutting boards echoes through the kitchen. And amid this quiet rhythm, you notice a faint smile dancing across Judgment's lips. Smiling in turn, you continue your task. Have you given any more thought to our predicament? Predicament? What are you referring to, mortal? The butterflies. Shouldn't we fortify our home against the coming invasion? Ah, perhaps. Or perhaps we should explore other avenues, such as diplomacy. Diplomacy? Yes, if we can placate the beast with sustenance, we can avoid any unnecessary bloodshed. I see. Is that what you would prefer? I would. As would I. Judgment grins and dumps another load of fruit into the plastic containers. As you prepare to do the same, you hear something that catches you by surprise. Judgment's begun to hum. The sound of her voice fills the room, and you find yourself looking at the demoness in shock. Judgment, All of a sudden, the scent of smoke stings your nose. The hell is going on in here? I thought I caught a whiff of something sweet coming from the kitchen, and so I got hungry. But it's just you nerds. Hey, Zadrada, don't worry, I'll get started on dinner after I'm done here. Good. What are you doing, anyway? I wanted to make fruit medleys to donate to the Butterfly Conservatory, and Judgment here offered to help. The demon puts her hand over her mouth and makes a gagging noise. Ugh, forget I asked. Though, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that you do something like this, Taker. I am, however, a little shocked at you, Judgment. Who would have known that the High Prosecutor of Hell would do something so sickeningly nice? Next thing I know, you'll be letting sinners slide for a few decades with an IOU eternal damnation. Oh wait, that already happened, didn't it? Looks like somebody's losing their edge. Before you can protest, Zadrada breaks out in a cackle. Spewing smoke with each hearty guffaw, the demoness swipes a box of crackers off of the counter and departs, leaving you and Judgment alone in the kitchen once more. Silence descends upon you, yet the ringing of Zadrada's laughter still echoes in your ear. Geez, what's her problem? Shaking your head, you look over at Judgment. The demoness is facing the counter with her hands gripping the sides of her cutting board, hard enough to turn her knuckles white. At first, you think that this is a display of anger, but the slight glimmer of tears in the corner of her eyes causes you to think otherwise. Judgment. Fool. I'm sorry. May I take my leave now? Yeah, I can take it from here. With that, Judgment removes her apron, seizes her gauntlets, and scurries out of the kitchen. A moment later, you hear her bedroom door slam shut. Left to yourself once again, you let out a long sigh before finishing up with your task. Thanks to Judgment's help, there isn't much left to do. It only takes you a few minutes to slice up the last few pieces of fruit and divide that up into the medleys. Then you close up the containers, wash off the knife, and load everything up into a couple of boxes for transport. As you are carrying these boxes out to the car, Justice approaches you. Hey, Chief, when's dinner? Oh, hey, Justice. I'll get started on it as soon as I get back. Nice, I'm starving. Where are you headed off to? I'm going to take these fruit medleys to the Butterfly Conservatory. You made all those yourself? No, Judgment helped out quite a bit. Judgment? That's a surprise. Zadrada said something similar. Zadrada saw? That's no good. What do you mean? If I can be frank, that woman talks out of her ass so much, it's probably become a second mouth at this point. I'm guessing she said something that made Judgment leave, didn't she? Yeah, actually she did. Is Judgment okay? Oh hey, Blade Hacksaw. Thanks for your raid. Welcome everybody. I'm going to give a quick shout out to old Blade Hacksaw. Let's see, what were you up to today? We're just getting started reading. We haven't gone too far at all. Looks like you were streaming Luck Be a Landlord, huh? I've never heard of that. You'll have to tell me about it sometime. Or maybe I'll look it up. But I hope you enjoyed your stream. We're just having a relaxing visual novel read-along of Helltaker's Second Circle, a fan work based on the Helltaker game. Short and sweet puzzle game you might know from Steam. Let's see, long stream with Jump King, Monster Rancher 2, and Luck Be a Landlord. That is quite a stream. I've been wanting to get into Monster Rancher myself. I haven't played one for quite some time. Yeah, it's really reminiscent of the original in terms of like all the art and stuff. The writing's a little different, and it's a different writer. It's not officially partnered with Helltaker, but the guy has endorsed it in a couple of ways, including drawing some of the characters before. Yeah, Monster Rancher 2 looks like a lot of fun. I haven't played a Monster Rancher game since Evo, which was years and years and years ago. Man, brings back memories. It would be really fun to play again sometime, though. Alright, give me 1 second. I'm going to take some water, and then I'll get back to the reading. Hey, Zealous Art. Thank you for rating. Hope you're enjoying your Tuesday as we head up towards Christmas. I'm pretty excited myself, although I won't be able to stream a lot. Yeah, I guess if you have a raid emote, now's the perfect time to use it. But use whichever emote you like. Okay, I'm going to get back to reading, but I'll be watching chat. I wonder about that myself sometimes. Is there something I should know? I'd say, let me begin by saying that Judgment and I have been friends for a very long time, Taker. Heck, I knew her back when I was the High Prosecutor. So there's a lot of history there, and it can get a little messy. But if it's you, perhaps I can let you in on a few things. If it'll help me understand Judgment more... Oh, I'm sorry. Let me start there. If it'll help me understand Judgment more, I'm all ears. That's what I like to hear. Alright. First, let me start by saying that Judgment wasn't always the High Prosecutor that you know today. Before I chose her as my successor, she was known as the Nicest Demon. Now there's a surprise. Didn't see that one coming. Seriously? Seriously? Well, that explains a few things. Go on. Yeah, there actually is an OST to this one, but right now it's just gone quiet for a bit. There's actually a, I think there's a little bit of a remix of Vitality that plays on the main theme, and then you hear the classic version of Vitality sometimes as well. And then there's a couple of other little cutesy backgrounds as well. I'd say the overall tone of this visual novel is very cutesy. Very, very cute visual novel. Let's see. For a long time, she wore that title with pride. But then, she took the position of High Prosecutor. Everything changed after that. Her old title became something of a hindrance for her. How could demons and sinners respect someone who was known so well for being nice? Hell isn't a terribly kind place to those who are nice. So, with my help, she did what she had to do. She killed the nice part of herself. In a way, rather, and I'm ashamed now to admit that this was primarily my idea, she suppressed her true nature in favor of a totally new persona, a facade that she wears whenever the situation demands that she must be the High Prosecutor of Hell. But, while at first Judgment was able to switch between these two images of herself, soon the High Prosecutor side of her took over completely, and we never got to see the kind demon we once knew surface again. Oh hey Trigger Pig King, thank you for the rate. I'll give you a quick shout out. Hope everything's going well with you, and let's see what you are playing. You were playing Dark Souls. I know about Dark Souls. That's a classic. I've been hoping to play a Souls game on stream at some point, but I think it's actually going to be Nioh 2. Sorry to ruin the surprise, but I have that coming up soon. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed Dark Souls. This is Helltaker's Second Circle. It is a visual novel based on Helltaker. If you don't know what Helltaker is, it's a free game on Steam. Very short, very sweet, with puzzles and demon girls. And this is a visual novel based kind of like a sequel to that game. It's unofficial, but it's endorsed in a couple of ways by the creator. It's not like partnered, but it is something that they've taken an interest in and encouraged people to check out. So I'm checking it out. This is my third stream of it, but the plot's pretty simple, so I don't think you'll be lost if you're coming in late. I'm going to take a quick drink of water and get back to it, but I'll be watching chat. Thanks again for your raid. Let's see, you mused yourself quite a bit of the stream. Oh no, a tantrum. I gotcha. That's a shame. I'm fortunate enough that I live in a pretty quiet home, so I don't have too much of that. I think you might pick up, the worst background noise you'll pick up from me is just my unoptimized setup, where you'll hear my keyboard clacks. Oh nice, I hear the DLC is really good. You know, I've never actually played the DLC of a Dark Souls game, even though some of them are very well reputed. One of these days I'll get around to it. I see. Oh boy, that's a pretty late time slot. Alright, let's get back to some reading. While at first Judgment was able to switch between these two images of herself, soon the High Prosecutor side of her took over completely, and we never got to see the kind demon we once knew surface ever again. Yeah, I've heard some nice things about Dark Souls 2 DLC. It's funny, I think that's one where people say that Dark Souls 2, don't they say the DLC was better than the game itself? I know the game itself has kind of a bad rap. It's not something I realized when I was playing Dark Souls 2, but afterward, when people kind of explained things to me, I kind of understood their grievances a little bit. But then there's some diehard fans who really love Dark Souls 2 too, so whatever. But yeah, I really enjoyed Helltaker, and so when I saw there was a visual novel, a pretty meaty visual novel about it, I figured, what the hey, let's go for it. Oh, it's actually your favorite Souls game. I see, I see. Also, hey, Seagull Sunday. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. A Seagull Tuesday, you might say. Alright, let's read just a bit more. I fear that maybe she's gotten so deep into this other personality of hers that she can no longer snap out of it. Perhaps she's afraid that nobody will accept her old self. When I realized this, I mourned the friend I once knew and put forth effort to get to know the new judgment instead. It's been an adjustment, to say the least. But if what you say is true, Taker, maybe that part of her is not dead after all. Maybe the kind demon is still lurking around in there somewhere. Maybe. Thank you for telling me all this. There must be something I can do to help the situation. I truly hope there is, Taker. Because, if I'm being honest with you, there's a part of me that misses the friend I used to have. Okay, I think we've done all the second dates now. That means we're ready to move on to the third dates. As always, I'll ask, if anyone has a favorite demon girl, we can actually jump to their story. And if you don't, then I will just work from the left to the right, as I usually do. But I'm always interested to hear who is everyone's favorite. My personal favorites are... My very favorite is Azazel, and my second favorite is Melina. Yeah, Melina's good. We'll do Melina. First come, first serve. It's hard not to like Melina, especially if you're a gamer, because Melina is the true gamer of Demon. Justice is my brother's favorite. She's good too. Justice is actually kind of the one who got me into Helltaker because, without revealing too many of my browsing habits, I frequently do image searches, and I was like, who's this cool-looking demon with these sunglasses on? And I learned the source, and that was when I first got into Helltaker. Alright, so into Melina's story. To kind of give a quick recap, Melina has been hanging out with the Helltaker, but Zadrada has been kind of nosing into their business, and has made it hard for her to really get one-on-one time with Helltaker like she would want. In the meantime, Helltaker is kind of trying to find some way to take her out of her shell and get her into more of a comfortable position where she's not just sort of in her room all the time. So, today's the day. Got a special place in mind for me? As a matter of fact, I had an excellent idea last night. Well, are you going to tell me sometime this year? Karaoke. Hey, you know, this is weird. I think I actually already did this chapter. Let me see what's going on here. I don't want to redo the whole thing I already did. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a quick look and just look at the menu. Make sure we're not redoing something we already did. Because I think that I am. What's going on here? I really don't want to run through all of it a second time. Sorry about that. Give me just a moment as I figure this out. That's strange. Yeah, there was a bunch of dates in the game. I think I have done 2 dates for each girl now. But I think that it goes significantly deeper than that. Let's see. Pantomonica, Medeus, Cerberus, Melina, Zadrada, Azazel, Justice, Lucifer, Judgment, Beelzebub. And I never did figure out how you do Beelzebub's dates. I'm sure they're in there somewhere. But I would like to do those as well. But you know what I'm thinking? I'm betting I don't have the latest patch of this game. What I might do is take a quick BRB. I think it's a pretty fast game to grab off of itch.io and update. So I might take a quick BRB, see if I can do that update. If I can't, then I'll just pick a backup game. But otherwise, we'll get right back to it after a BRB. So settle in, get yourself cozy, get yourself a snack, and I will be back in just a moment. So yeah, actually there was a new update just 27 days ago that added all the third dates. I somehow missed that. But the good news is that all those all those third dates are available now, which means we can continue playing, because I've already finished installing them. It was quite quick. Let's get back into it. I gotta resize my my computer window here. Let's do like that. Okie dokie. Yeah, I think that'll work. Oop, I messed up one part. Give me just 1 second. Okay, good enough. Let's get into it. I think we can, yeah, there's a button here to jump straight to the new dates. So thankfully we won't have to do all the stuff through the second week that we already did. This will allow us to go straight into playing the third dates. On the following day, as you head into the kitchen to start the day with a fresh pot of coffee, you are surprised to find that you are not alone. Justice and Medeus are already awake and are sitting at the kitchen table chatting. They stop you as you walk in, grinning at your presence. Good morning, sleepyhead. Feeling tired today, Chief? What are you two talking about? It's 7 a.m. Yeah, and? Everyone else is already up. You're the one who slept in this time. Man, everybody woke up at 7 a.m.? A whole house of people? This is madness. I don't know about you, but anytime I've ever been in a house with more than, like 2 or 3 people, somebody's gonna take the opportunity to sleep in. You're kidding. Afraid not. What about Pandemonica? She dragged Zadrada to the store to restock the fridge and pantry. Zadrada went? She needed a new pot for her cactus. I suppose that makes sense. And Pandemonica does exert an unusual amount of control over Zadrada. What about her coffee, though? Modeus gestures to the sink where the grinder lays among the dishes. Looks like she's taken a liking to that grinder you gave her. She was up early and made her own coffee with it. Alright. Well, what about Cerberus? Judgment took her for a walk. Melina? Azazel and her went to a gaming cafe for research purposes. I suspect only Azazel will be doing any research. You're probably right. Surely Lucy is still around. Modeus and Justice share a glance. Actually, we haven't seen her at all today. Yeah, I'd put my ear up to her door thinking I'd hear her snoring like usual, but nothing. She's just gone? The demon shrugged. Don't know what to tell you, Chief. Alright. And what about you two? Where are you off to? Bookstore. My sources tell me they're getting a new shipment of books in Braille, so I thought I'd bring Justice along to see if anything struck her fancy. I see. Well, have fun. What'll you do, Taker? Oh, don't worry about me. I've got some plans to make. Plans? Like what? You'll see. You wink in their direction. But you're wearing sunglasses, so who could notice? Suddenly realizing what you mean, the demons blush. Oh. Now that's my guy. We should be going there. Hope the planning goes well. The demons bid farewell and head out the door, leaving you alone in the house for the first time in months. Left to your own devices, you can only hope that you're living up to Lucifer's expectations. Now to select the character. I think earlier we were saying Melina, so now we have the opportunity to do that. That's weird. So the original game always kind of worked in like a left to right fashion, and it seems that they have added a kind of a loop, which makes it much more functional in terms of getting from one side to the other. Not that it really matters, it's just something neat that I noticed. Okay, I've saved the game. We will do Melina's to start with. There must be some way to activate Beelzebub's stories too, but I have not figured out what it is yet. We'll figure it out eventually. Your mental state is not the best it's ever been. The stress of trying to find time for all the girls, while also keeping a watchful eye out for the dethroned lords of hell, is taking its toll, fraying your already stretched nerves to their bare ends. You know, at this point, I gotta take a quick break, because I don't remember it describing the dethroned lords of hell to us yet, or us keeping a watchful eye out for them, which makes me wonder if I'm really looking at the right thing. I've saved the game, so let's check the title screen real quick, and we'll look at the CG gallery and make sure that we only see 2 CGs per girl, because if there's more CGs than that, it may mean I'm somehow missing events. Okay, it looks like there's still really only 3 dates, which lines up with what I think there should be. It could be that some information is presented in one of the other storylines, and they forgot to make it presented in this storyline, so you're not actually supposed to play them out of order. But I think we'll be okay, but it's just a little bit weird. I mean, we learned a little bit about the dethroned Lords of Hell in Lucifer's chapter last time, but we aren't actually keeping a watchful eye out for them yet, so I'm not sure where that came from. What you'd really like to do is take a vacation. Get someplace far, far away, preferably to an island resort with unlimited mimosas. Unfortunately, the thought of trying to get all 9 girls through airport security without causing a scene proves too much of a hurdle for you to clear. For now, at any rate. Fortunately, in the meanwhile, you have alcohol, a stalwart and dependable, if rather addictive, way to numb out the world around you, rendering the clawing worries into nothing more than a dull sense of existential dread. A dependable way, that is, until now. You're standing in front of what was once your bar cabinet. Stretched thin ever since Melina moved into the house, your overworked liquor cabinet appears to have finally given up the ghost. Your small reserve of top-shelf booze has been thoroughly plundered. The only object remaining is a half-empty bottle of martini olives, rolling forlornly at the far end of the oaken chamber. Well, that can't be good. While Zadrada and the other demons do partake in alcohol from time to time, there's really only one demon capable of clearing out the cabinet in such a short amount of time. One which, coincidentally, has been suspiciously absent from day-to-day activity. I wonder if Melina was the one who cleared out my supply of booze. Ever since her embarrassment during your last date, Melina has remained largely in her room, not even coming out for the communal movie night. Her persistent lack of communication with the rest of the house is starting to weigh on you. Making a mental note to restock the cabinet soon, you decide to head upstairs to see if she's willing to talk with you today. You make your way up to the door of the attic, but silence is the only thing that answers your inquisitive knocking. Undaunted, you call up the ladder, hoping your voice will garner what attention your knocking cannot. Melina, you doing okay up there? No answer. You try again. Everyone wants to see you again. Why don't you come eat dinner with us tonight? The silence hangs like an obese fruit bat in the wake of your knocking. That's a strange comparison. I was thinking about similes recently, such as that, and I was thinking to myself, you always see all these examples of goofy simile throughout stories, but I think even a really silly simile is better than a kind of a non-description, because even if it's just ridiculous, if it kind of grabs your attention, then it's better than the alternative of being boring, I think. Still, that's a pretty strange one. Well, if you change your mind, we'd love to have you join us. You pause for a moment, then add, I'd love to have you there. The trapdoor creaks open, and a thick, slurred voice comes trickling down the stairs. No, and stop bothering me, Taker. I'm too hung up for this sort of thing. Too hungover. Hungover is a very different thing. Before you can finish your thought, the trapdoor drops back into place with a dusty thwump. Drawn by the noise, one of Cerberus's heads pokes around the corner, quickly joined by a second and a third. It's no use when she's like this, you know. I take it this isn't the first tantrum she's thrown. It's useless to try to squeeze a normal interaction out of her when she's on one of her legendary binges, and we haven't seen her this upset since that one time Zadrada used her limited edition console as an ashtray. How long did she sulk for? About 5, I think? Days? Well, that's not 2. Years? That'll be a problem. There's gotta be a way to make her snap out of it early. This isn't exactly a convenient time for it. Should I let it run its course? Or maybe... Your floundering is cut short by Cerberus, who seems well versed on the subject of Melina's mood swings. It may sound silly, but sulking and hiding is her way of asking for attention. But isn't that what I was doing? Or is trying to talk to her the wrong kind of attention? Cerberus shakes her head. It's more complicated than that. She's not going to open up easy. We'd recommend bringing her a gift to show that you care about her. Like a stick. Or the newspaper. Thanks for the suggestion, Cerberus, but I think Melina wants something a little more personal. Hey kid, good to see you. Yeah, we're enjoying some Helltaker. What about something special to drink? If I could find a spirit that really speaks to her, she might be willing to open up enough to let me back in. Oh my gosh, that's almost as good an idea as a newspaper. You're good at this, Taker. I guess I'll mosey on down to the bar then. Would you like to come along? Yeah, we'll help you pick out a good one. Cerberus follows you out of the house and down the street to the local bar on the corner. A small bell tinkles over your head as you enter, prompting a familiar, sleep-muddied face to rise from the bar. Hello? Can I help? Oh, it's you again. Hello, Abby. We won't be here long. We're just looking for something to placate a cranky friend of ours. Frankly, there's too much information. Wake me up when you decide what you want, okay? Or you could just walk out with it. Not really my problem. You're pretty sure it is, by definition, but you let Cerberus pull you deeper into the bar, without saying anything. Oh hey, thanks for your subscription. That's very kind of you. And yeah, thanks for the compliment on the face tracking too. I've been working on it quite a bit in terms of getting my expressions up and making my mouth move with my words a little bit. And then giving it a kind of a three-dimensional effect too, although there's still more I want to do with like the nose and stuff, but expressions and things. But yeah, it has been a while. I've been meaning to try to catch more of your streams too, to be honest, but it's been tricky. Hopefully in the near future though. Abby gives you a groggy thumbs up before sliding slothfully below the bar. Cerberus sticks out her tongue in Abby's direction once you're out of sight. We don't like her, you know. How many jobs does she work, anyway? Too many, but I wouldn't be too harsh on her. Minimum wage jobs stink. She's probably just trying to make ends meet. Yeah, especially around Christmas time, let's all remember to be kind to everyone in a retail and service position. It's not an easy thing to do. Cerberus grumbles to herself, but she joins you in perusing without pushing the issue further. Wandering over to the novelties, she amuses herself for a time by pulling a selection of bottles down you're pretty sure even she wouldn't drink. How about this one? Sauerkraut-infused bourbon. Ugh, I'm not sure I could even stomach that being in the house. Let's see, she's not really a huge fan of overly sweet spirits, so something tart then. Hey, how about this one? Looking over at Cerberus, you see she's picked an excessively ornate, rounded bottle. The bottle is surrounded by a gaudy gold filigree, more akin to something you would find on royal instruments of office, rather than a bottle of liquor. The vessel is filled with a deep red liquid. Chambord. Well, it's fitting, I suppose. It even smells like her. Wait, people like to eat things that smell like them, right? Maybe it's a demon thing. Either way, I think it's probably as good as we're gonna find here. Let's get back to the house. Are you gonna wake up that lazy sales lady? Let's do it. Sounds more fun than letting her sleep. You ring a little bell on the counter, once more rousing Abby. She peers mullishly at you as she rings up the alcohol. I told you that you didn't need to wake me up, right? If this were a video game, this would be the point where you realize that Abby will remember that. You get a vague feeling that Abby will remember that, but you can't quite figure out where it's coming from. You pay for the drink and make your way back to the house, Cerberus in tow. Cerberus parts from you as you head towards the staircase, instead meandering off towards the kitchen in search of a snack. Alone once more, you head back up to Melina's room, stopping only to grab a couple of wine glasses from Lucifer's collection. This time around, your knocking on the trapdoor is met with an immediate response. Leave me alone. I told you I'm not interested in entertaining your bumbling attempts at romance. Well, it's quite a shame. Suppose I'll have to enjoy this bottle of Chambord all on my own. Taking a seat on one of the ladder rungs, you uncork the bottle and pour the aromatic liquid into a small crystal glass. As you go to take a sip, a curious noise sounds above you, just as you predicted it would. You smile to yourself as the trapdoor to Melina's attic cracks open a fraction of an inch. A pair of red-rimmed eyes quickly take stock of the situation before withdrawing. The eyes are almost immediately replaced by a pale-fingered hand, which gently lifts the trapdoor another few inches off the ground, before reaching down the wooden slats of the ladder. Wordlessly, you pour another glass full of the berry-scented liquor, and gently place it in the palm of the inquisitive hand. Grasping the vessel carefully, the hand retreats back up into the attic. Another moment passes in silence before the hand emerges once again from the trapdoor, placing the empty glass on a wooden stair, conspicuously close to the bottom. Taking the hint, you refill the glass, and it's quickly withdrawn. At last, you decide to break the silence. Sorry about the last date. I should have put my foot down when Zadrada barged in. I thought letting you hash things out with your sister would be good for you, especially if you could beat her at something. It's not entirely your fault, you know. Zadrada is used to winning, and throws temper tantrums when things don't go the way she wants them to. Even if I had beaten her, she would have found some way to ruin our evening. She always does, you know. You two have been feuding for how long now? Long time, years, decades, centuries. What happened? It's not uncommon for sisters to fight, even here in the mortal world. But to be locked in sustained combat for that long, there has to be a reason. Silence fills the hallway, and for a moment, you wonder if you pushed too far into Melina's past. However, after what feels like an eternity, Melina answers your question. It's complicated, and I'd have to start from the beginning. If you really want to know, I guess you should come upstairs. Just make sure you bring that bottle. Melina's room has undergone a bit of a transformation since you were last here. Heavy, dark cloths have been draped over the windows, making the room feel claustrophobic, closed off from the rest of the world. Yeah, the artists behind this project made quite a few of these CGs that are pretty impressive. They include a lot of backgrounds, complex positions and things. As someone who's making my own visual novel right now, I definitely appreciate the the artistry that goes into making CGs. It's not easy. Melina's normally clean room has been subverted by the lazy hands of constant habitation. Let's see, is this project done? You know, it's actually still kind of in the demo phases. About 27 days ago, they released the 0.4 update, which adds a third date to the game. To be honest, I thought they were already a little deeper in than that, but yeah, I think it's still coming out. There have been actually a couple updates since I started streaming it, I think. 2 updates. But it seems like they're going a couple months at a time between updates. That's sort of the pace. So after we finish all these third dates, there'll probably be a bit of a break while I wait for more content to come out. But that's okay. We'll just go back to it when there is. Clothes lay strewn over her couch and unmade bed, and her minibar has been ransacked, its bottle desiccated and left forgotten on the floor to be slowly subsumed by a rising tide of clothes. The overbright glare of Melina's computer is the only source of illumination in the gloomy atmosphere, and it casts the room into uncomfortably stark relief, shadows looming at odd angles upon the walls. At the center of this bedlam, Melina stands, wobbling back and forth from drink, lack of sleep, or some combination of the two. Grimacing, she extends her glass and, against your better judgment, you pour her another drink. The two of you sit on the floor, Melina facing towards the window, and you the wall. She sighs. There's a lot to go through. I'm not really sure where to start. Well, how about the beginning? I'm sure the story will come together as you tell it. Melina sighs and leans back into your shoulder. At first, her words come forth hesitantly, almost as if she's forcing them out into the open. Back in hell, Zadrada and I, well, we didn't quite live like the others. This is neat. We get to see a young Zadrada and young Melina sprite. It'll be interesting to see what the author's interpretations are of these characters. Because as you know, they were never presented this way in the game. Ha, gotcha. Smell you later, loser. Gotta try harder than that if you want to catch us. Nah. Damn brats, stop stealing my wares. The two of us were quite the dreadful duo. Nothing was safe from our sticky fingers. We pilfered pretty much anything we could get our hands on, food, clothes, and coin, when we were able to. Zadrada had a real knack for making a scene. She'd always be out picking fights, turning heads, and generally keeping attention away from the valuables. While she was busy showing off, I'd get in and rob our marks blind. After we'd plundered enough to make it through the day, we'd head back to the place we called home. Hurry up, Malinka, we're only halfway there. You know I'm not as fast as you, sis. Fine, I'll wait for you, but only because you're my little sister, got it? We had a lair in one of the outer layers, a dumping ground for the mortal vices. We dug ourselves a fort out of the refuse. It wasn't much, but it was nice to have a roof over our head when the sky started raining burning tar. Burning tar? Is that normal weather in hell? Very, and hush, I'm getting to the good part. You note with wry amusement that despite being reluctant to begin the story, Melina does seem invested in continuing it. We live day to day, planning, executing, and repeating. We must have pulled off hundreds of capers over the many years, and every night we'd revel in our own wit, our youth, our immortality. To us. Cheers, thee. Two sisters, together till the end. Together till the end. That was our life, for who knows how long, stealing anything we could get our hands on. We were never apart from one another for long, and the only thing we could really count on was each other. But one day, our scheming went awry. I got the food, let's get out of here. Not this time, you little punks. One of my buddies from the Circle of Wrath sent me a little toy. A gun. A hell gun. Reminds me a little bit of the American Dad episode with the heaven guns. That was one of my favorite American Dad episodes. Good show. Malenka. The shopkeeper shot me. Zadrada and I had never even seen a gun before, and he shot me with a silver bullet over an apple. Fortunately, adrenaline carried me out of sight before the shopkeeper could reload. My sister found me passed out in an alleyway, badly wounded. Don't worry, sis. I've got you. I'll get you back to the hideout, get you patched up. It was agony for the both of us. My sister carried me for hours to get me to safety, but it was only after we were secure in our hideaway that the real nightmare began. Ugh, so hot. Melina, you're burning up. The bullet wound festered, the silver burning away my body. Without means of paying for medical assistance, Zadrada was forced to take desperate measures to make ends meet. She fought tooth and nail for my survival, taking on gangs, chop shops, anyone who might have a cure. Malenka, I managed to get some medicine for you. You don't have any money. How did you... Zadrada, you've been picking fights with the gangs again, haven't you? Don't worry about your big sis. There's no cocksucker out there bad enough to beat me in a fight when my baby sister's life is on the line. Now take this medicine and try to get some sleep. Okay, but you have to promise to be careful out there. I promise. I'll have you back on your feet in no time. I'd never abandon my baby sister. It didn't last forever. If an injury doesn't kill a demon outright, they usually recover given enough time. Zadrada's plundering tipped the balance in my favor, and slowly but surely, I began to recover. Confined to our hideaway, boredom now was my principal concern. How you doing today, sis? Better. I managed to drink some tea today. You're starting to recover. That's good to hear. We'll be back on the street in no time at all. By the way, I found something for you. Should help to keep you from going crazy with boredom. A fun Tendo? What the heck is this? It's a games console. They're all the rage on the surface. You can play electronic games on them. I figured you'd want something to do stuck here. I'm not sure, but I'll try it. Thanks for thinking of me, Zadrada. Anything for my baby sister. We're in this together, till the end. Together till the end. With nothing to do all day, I quickly became enamored with the console. The games I had were pretty terrible now that I think about it, but I loved playing them anyways. That's a pretty relatable feeling. Back when I was young, my first console that I got was the Super Nintendo. That's the first one that I actually got, apart from like a Game Boy. But back then, I had no way to tell what the quality of games was. So I thought all games were created equal. I thought that if something seemed wrong with a game, it's probably just that it was really hard. It can't be any sort of flaw on the game designer's part. So I remember like sitting there with Izzy and the Olympic rings and just thinking, man, this game is so challenging. It must take like a real master to beat this. I had no idea that not only was Iggy and the Olympic ring such a weird game for a child to play, but also it's just not a very good game. Oh boy. Sometimes I go back and revisit those games now, and every now and then you find a winner that's better than you remember it as a kid. But in general, the rose-tinted glasses really take effect there. Yeah, you always thought, difficult game. You can't really conceive of a bad game back then. Anywho, I feel like we're slowly cruising towards a plot point where Melina becomes more addicted to games than she is loving of her sister. Not sure if anyone else has ever had a kind of a game addiction before, but I don't know if I'd know it if I had. I do spend a lot of time playing video games. There's even a 2-player mode. Nice. Up for a round with your older sis, Melina? Sure. I warn you, though, I've been playing all day. Zadrada had a natural talent for competition. I didn't stand a chance. You got me. How are you so good at a game you've never played? 'Cause I'm top dog, that's why. Nobody's getting the better of me. Still, with nothing to do but play video games all day, a natural escalation in my skills was inevitable. Ha, I won! Did you see that, sis? I won against you. Probably just a fluke. I wasn't warmed up yet. Let's go again. Eventually, my skills passed a point of no return, beating my sister again. That can't be right. You must be cheating. And again. Hi! No fair. How are you winning? And again. Yes, I beat you again. Until eventually... You're back early. Want to play some more? Is something wrong, big sis? I'm done playing that game. It's for babies anyway. Oh. Okay. Sis, you're almost fully recovered. Don't you think it's about time to hit the streets again instead of playing on that silly thing? I've been doing some thinking, cooped up in here. I'm not sure I want to go back to our old life. You can't be serious. We're a team, together till the end. But which end, Z? I certainly don't want to be living here in another 100 years, and that's only if we live that long. I think it's high time for a change in scenery. What are you talking about? Don't think I haven't heard the news. There's a new queen of hell, and things are changing. People are saying for the better. We could get in on the ground level, secure a stable future for ourselves, if we wanted to. That pompous bitch just passed degrees cracking down on thievery. Why on earth would I want to work for her? She's just trying to make hell safer for demons like us. How? By making it even harder to prosper at the only things we're good at? How the shit is that helping us? By giving us a fresh start, an opportunity to strive for something better. Do you still want to be risking your life stealing apples a decade from now? I don't care. We can make it together. You getting hurt was just a fluke. As long as we're careful, it won't happen. My getting hurt was a fluke? I almost died, Z. I'm not taking that risk again. Not when there's an alternative. First things tomorrow, I'm heading for the capital to find a real job. You can't abandon me, not after everything I've done for you. I won't let you. You won't let me? I'm your sister, Zadrade. Don't you want me to be happy? Not if it means being alone, I don't. I can't live like that. Then come with me. We can still work together. Even if I have to help you, You don't understand. I'm not taking orders from some brown-nosed bureaucrat Just because my own sister's blackmailing me into it. Z, I'm not trying to blackmail you. But you are. Think, what am I supposed to do without you? I'm sorry, Z, but I can't live my life for you. I have to live it for me. You've helped me realize what I'm capable of, what I can do when I put my mind to something. Oh, so you beat your big sister in a game for children, and now you're ready to take on the world? Face it, Malinka, you're nothing without me. I'm not just your little sister anymore, Z. But if this is the way things have to be, then I hope you can find it in your heart to accept me someday. I don't care how long it takes. I won't give up. I'll never give up until I get my baby sister back again. Exactly. I'm not your little sister anymore. I'm a gamer. The most oppressed group of all. This story is pretty relatable. I think we've all had a friend that we really got to know through a particular hobby, and then it turns out we kind of grow apart as we lose track of that hobby. And the sad thing is, you can never really go back to it. You can never kind of put the genie back in the bottle. Once you realize one day that you just aren't enjoying the same things anymore, you either have to find new ground that's common again, or sometimes you just naturally grow apart. I think that's just a normal part of friendships, unfortunately. You can't be possessive and try to wrangle somebody back into that hobby, unfortunately. And yeah, people just grow apart, unfortunately. I didn't wait until morning. I left that night, making the long journey through the rings of hell all on my own. You didn't want to say goodbye to Zadrada. No, I'd said everything that needed to be said, and I knew that if I stayed, she'd only try to stop me from leaving. I wasn't certain Zadrada wouldn't physically try to keep me from leaving, and was under no illusions as to my ability to resist her if she did so. That must have been hard. I think really it's hard on both of them in some ways. On the both of you. You both lost something precious and irreplaceable that day. Well, yeah, I didn't have time to grab the console. The unexpected joke catches you off guard, stealing a chuckle from you. Heh, glad your sense of humor is returning. Have you ever regretted the choices you made that day? Melina shakes her head, resolute. Never. I may have lost my big sister, but I found myself. Sometimes you have to burn your bridges to see the light. This is a tricky one because I really am of two opinions there. It is never too late to reconnect, but there's also kind of a salient point there that when you do grow apart from people, sometimes it's just natural. I think a lot of people sometimes fret thinking of all of the relationships that they could do better in, without realizing that they're already kind of gunning at 100%. You know what I mean? It's sort of like you can't be the 100% friend all the time. And yeah, her sister really was the first wrong there, I suppose. You do have a good point. But this is a graphic novel, so I suppose we should go for the teachable lesson. Let's see. Maybe it's not too late to build new bridges with your sister, Melina. From everything you've told me, a lot of the things she does to try to reconnect with you. Yeah, if you're doing a visual novel, like especially a dating sim, sometimes you really have to act against your own nature to advance the romance. That's even the case with a lot of AAA video games and things. My take is, I'm the kind of guy who will play a game like Sakura Wars, which, if you're not familiar, definitely has some romance elements to it. And I'll pick the funny joke answer just because I have to hear what is going to be said. So I'm not always the best at these games. Sometimes I just sort of follow my heart, even if it leads me into the wrong place. Perhaps a return to your old dynamic may be impossible, but that doesn't mean you can't develop a new, healthier one. Huh. Well, if you say so. I guess even if they aren't the best, your ideas aren't universally terrible. I guess I could give it some thought. Melina will think on what you've said. Melina will remember that, as the game said earlier. Thanks for listening to my story. I think I'm ready to be part of the house again. And thank you for sharing. Believe it or not, this goes a long way towards explaining some things. You aren't a bad storyteller either. If you can think of any more stories from hell, I'd love to hear them. Melina smiles and leans more into you, her tail winding its way around your arm. May I just say that I love Demon Girl tales. They're so good for, if you're doing some writing, you can be very expressive with them in terms of writing about their features and their behavior. And if you're doing drawing, it also gives you quite a lot to do. Prehensile pointed tails. We love them. The two of you stay like that in silence for some time. And there you go. Melina's story. Right now we are at an hour and a half. I'd like to go for at least 2 hours, so we'll do another date now. If you have a favorite girl, feel free to speak up and we'll try them. If not, I'll just go left to right like normal. So far, the only third date we've done is Melina's, so we have everybody else to choose from. Pandamonica, Modeus, Cerberus, Sadrade, Azazel, Justice, Lucifer, and Judgment. My normal order would be to go to Pandamonica next, being that she is the first demon. But, if you have any preferences, we can do that instead. We can also groove out to Vitality for a little while. Okay, I will go with Pandamonica for now. You can't stop thinking about all that Pandamonica told you the other day. Her words occupy your thoughts to such a degree that you find yourself going out of your way to do research on the matter. However, after exhausting the local library of all their resources regarding demonology, and earning more than a few concerned looks from the librarians there, you turn to the only place depraved enough to have what you're looking for. The internet. Ah yes, the depravity of Google, let's go. Alas, even that proves to be unfruitful. Unsurprisingly, there isn't much in the way of academic papers around the study of actual flesh and brimstone demons. Certainly, you could turn to Lucy or one of the others living under your roof for some insight, but you're hesitant to air Pandamonica's personal issues out for all to hear. So instead, you seek out the only other person you can think of who, driven by obsessive curiosity, would know just as much about demons as the very denizens of hell itself. Do you know who it is? That's right, the curious one. Fortunately, you managed to find her alone in the garden, crouched over the azaleas with her notepad clutched tightly in one hand and a plucked flower in the other. Ahem. You come upon her just as she is about to lick up one of the petals. Oh, hello, Mr. Taker. Hey. What are you doing there? Oh, this? Just a bit of research. I see. Yeah, alright, sorry. Azazel is my favorite girl, too. I'm an angel lover despite being a demon. I know that's a little counterintuitive, but I love her aesthetic, and I love her cute personality. Yeah, angel lover squad, let's go. Can I help you with something? Actually, yes. There's something I'd like to ask you about. The never hurt you waifu. The kind one. Oh yeah, Azazel would never hurt you. I can't imagine Azazel ever doing anything untoward to anybody. You know? Right. If you have a minute, of course. It's something personal. Personal? Not about me. It's about Pandemonica, actually. Oh dear. She hasn't found my backup research file, has she? What? No. Wait. What backup research file? What? Never mind. It's best if I don't know. No, what I wanted to talk to you about is regarding demonology. You see, Pandemonica told me something the other day, and I'm not sure what to do with the information. You know, come to think of it, it's interesting to think about the fact that this visual novel probably started into production before the author had a chance to see what was happening in the Exam-Taker extension of Helltaker. The events of that are actually kind of a sequel to. I won't spoil everything, but they're very, very impactful to the lore of the story. So we kind of have a divergent future here. I think this person's probably not working towards that. They're probably disregarding it just based on when they had to start the novel. You see, Pandemonica told me something the other day, and I'm not sure what to do with the information. I tried digging into it on my own, in the hopes of understanding the situation better, but I couldn't get very far. Aha! So naturally you come to me, the leading demonology expert in the universe. Why, I'm flattered, Mr. Taker. Though I must admit, it's rather presumptuous of you to assume that an esteemed academic such as myself isn't too busy to help you. As you know, I am rather swamped with work on my thesis. Oh. Well, I don't mean to put too much on your plate. If you're too busy, I can find someone else to help. Wait, no. While I would normally be too busy for such a request, you just so happen to have called me right as I'm about to take my lunch break. So, why don't you whip us up a couple of sandwiches and I'll listen to your conundrum, eh? Huh. Fine, give me a minute. You pop inside the house and return a moment later with a couple of thrown together ham and cheese sandwiches. After handing one plate to Azazel, you sit down on the grass next to her. In between bites of your lunch, you launch into a thorough explanation detailing the time you spent with Pandemonica thus far and everything she revealed to you on your last date. You know, it's also really interesting that I think like 3 or 4 people have spoken up here about who their favorite demon girl is, and it's always a different demon girl. I don't think anybody... Well, no, I'm sorry. We had 2 for Melina. But it really does go to show what a wide range of tastes they covered with this demon harem. that you can get so many different answers from even an otherwise homogenous group of people. In between bites of your lunch, you launch into a thorough explanation detailing the time you spent with Pandemonica thus far, and everything she revealed to you on your last date. aside from asking a few clarifying questions here and there. Azazel is shockingly silent up until your tale has come to an end. This is all very interesting indeed. I have a few theories, but before I get into that, what exactly are you hoping to gain from this, Taker? Answers, I suppose? And what will you do with those answers? Well, I just want to help. Maybe it isn't my place to interfere, but I also know that I can't just sit by and watch her suffer. That's really admirable of you, Mr. Taker. I'm sure that, even if you fail to make a difference, she'll appreciate the effort. I hope so. Now, on to my theories. As it stands, I believe the primary reason for Pandemonica's affliction is thanks to the influence Hell exerts over its denizens, whether they remain within its direct boundaries or not. Therefore, it stands to reason that, in order to ease her particular malady, you need to lessen Hell's metaphorical grip over her. The easiest way to do this is to distance her from Hell. So I just need to bring her somewhere that's as far away from Hell as possible. Like a really tall mountain. Yeah, that's one way of thinking about it, I suppose. But I'm afraid it isn't quite so simple. Sure, putting physical distance is one way of alleviating her plight, but is that really sustainable? I think what you should really focus on is either aesthetic or emotional distance. Either you can make her immediate surroundings the very antithesis of Hell, or you can replace the lingering feelings of her time in Hell with something totally different. In doing so, you may be able to make the voices stop. The antithesis of Hell. How am I supposed to accomplish something like that? I realize this is all far easier said than done, but fear not. I have a couple of ideas that could help you. Oh man, I don't think it's gonna go here, but it would be really fun if they went up to heaven for a while. When I played the original Helltaker, there's a bit of a spoiler as to what the world of heaven may be like in the Helltaker universe. And it was very appealing to me. I wanted to spend more time there and kind of learn about like the archangels and every character like that, but it was more of a teaser, more of a gag than a real glimpse into what a heaven taker might be like. But it's still fun to dream. Maybe one day we'll have our heaven taker. Based on what you've told me and my knowledge of Hell itself, I think you have two avenues which you can pursue. Firstly, bring her somewhere that is opposed to the dark and drab image of Hell. That, I believe, is much of why her malady subsided on your walk the other day. The beautiful scenery and the cold brought her way away from Hell's clutches, giving her peace. Alright. And the second option. That one is a little more tricky, but also it's likely to prove more effective. Okay, what is it? If you can elicit feelings of joy, contentment, affection, even love, it's likely you'll be able to permanently ease her disquiet. But it is difficult to say if this will succeed, since it hinges on her reciprocating those feelings. I see. Thank you, Azazel. You've given me a lot to think about. Anytime, Mr. Taker. If there's anything else I can do, just let me know. Actually, there is one more thing I think you can do for me. Of course. What is it? You've got a bathing suit, right? Yeah? Good. Pack up your suit, a towel, and a couple umbrellas, and meet me by the car in a half hour. Oh, sweet, we're getting a bathing suit section. Gotcha. Oh, you're teaching a friend OBS. Well, good luck with that. Definitely a kindness of you. I know OBS has a little bit of a learning curve for some people who've never streamed before. Or even people who are streaming from, who are switching from Streamlabs OBS, as I understand many people currently are. What are you planning, Mr. Taker? You'll see. Also, find Pandamonica for me, and get her to pack up her things as well. We're gonna take a little trip. With that, you leave Azazel to go into the house and track down Judgment. With their help, you wrangle Cerberus into the kitchen, so that the three of you can begin preparing a basket of sandwiches, snacks, and wine. Then you gather your own bathing suit and a couple of beach-related activity items before loading everything up into the cart. True to her word, Azazel meets you out there with a very groggy Pandamonica in tow. Alright, we finally get swimsuits. I need to remember to print screen this for later use, by which I mean I'm going to want to post a picture of it for my Twitter previews. That's all I meant. Give me 1 second. Already a quick print screen. You know, it's funny, I just hit an LED button on my keyboard that I didn't even realize was there, and I made everything light up green, red, and blue gamer colors. Now I know. What in the world is going on, Taker? And why are we all standing here in our bathing suits? Hop on in, you'll see. Pandamonica pauses to glare at you before sliding into the passenger seat. Satisfied that no one has gotten hurt yet, you hop behind the wheel. The car rumbles to life and you set off. Look at this neat Pandamonica sprite. I like it. I like her hat especially. Big hat is a fantastic aesthetic that a lot of VTubers have actually capitalized upon. Witch VTubers especially, but other types too. One thing that pains me about myself a little bit is that, as you can see, I'm not exactly well suited for wearing hats because of this whole business. The fire that comes out behind my head. So I really only have like half a head. It's sort of the face half, and then the back is actually open, which means that hats don't really work for me. And that's even before you get to the point of the horns on my head. But other VTubers are out there wearing nice hats, and I live vicariously through them. The car rumbles to life, and you set off. For the first leg of your long journey, Cerberus and Judgment war over territory in the back seat, while Azazel regales you with all sorts of obtuse facts about all of the scenery you pass by. Pandamonica is unsurprisingly silent as she stares out the window. You cannot tell if she is grumpy, skeptical, or both. Eventually, the skirmishes in the back seat come to an end, and even Azazel falls into silence as you draw nearer to your destination. At last, after nearly an hour of driving, you pull off the main road onto a narrow side street, which brings you closer to the smell of salt air. Soon, you're able to hear the sound of crashing waves and decide that it's a good time to park. Alright everyone, we've got a bit of a walk still to go, so grab what you can. I promise you won't want to make a return trip. Where in the world have you brought us, Taker? Pandamonica, do you mind grabbing the picnic basket for me? I've got my hands a bit full with the towels. Don't dodge the question like that, mortal. Surely you don't think I'm foolish enough to fall for that. Hey, answer me, Taker. Taker, don't you walk away from me. You know, one thing that's interesting that I just noticed here, the name that's over this text sometimes fluctuates a bit. The reason I point that out is because it's very understandable that a visual novel creator will have like a couple of typos here and there like that. The reason it surprises me is when I'm working in RenP, I find that one of the first things I did was set character values where I basically just type one letter and it types out the whole name. I'm a little surprised that this writer hasn't done the same thing, but it could be a limitation of the system that they're working in that doesn't allow them to do that. I really don't know. I'd be interested to know what program the visual novel creator used for this. To be honest, I had assumed it was RenP because a lot of the other stuff seems similar. But who knows? You grab what you can and hurry out of the car. Then, with everyone following close behind you, you lead the way on a trek through a sparse grove of trees and past a wall of high boulders until you feel your feet sink into the sand. Here we are. Whoa! I like Cerberus's One Piece Baywatch bikini dive. Upon setting their sides from the beach, Cerberus drops everything they're holding and tosses off their sandals and charges forth into the water. Wait for me. Hey, don't just drop everything and run off. Hey! Grumbling, Judgment manages to gather up everything Cerberus dropped and lug it the rest of the way. This is... Do you like it? It's... Pandamonica turns to you and meets your gaze. At once, she seems to understand what it is you're really asking. Quiet. I really appreciate this, Taker, but... Listen, if they come back, then so be it. There isn't much we can do about that. But for now, try to put all of that in the back of your mind and just enjoy yourself. You reach into the basket hanging off of Pandamonica's forearm and pull out a thermos. Here, I packed you some coffee. Now go relax, okay? Thank you. You nod and watch Pandamonica walk off to set up the blankets. Then a shout draws your attention to Judgment, chasing Cerberus through the shallow water, running circles around a crouched Azazel. Come back here, you! Quit running around like that. You're scaring away the specimens. Judgment is about to toss her chains out at the mischievous trio when you whistle for her attention. As she turns to you, you withdraw a disc from the bag on your shoulder and toss it to her. She catches it out of the air and returns a thankful wave. With one fluid motion, Judgment hurls the disc down the beach. Cerberus pauses for only a moment to watch it go, then practically tramples over herself to pursue it. You meanwhile go to help Pandamonica unpack everything. I've never been to a beach before. Aside from the banks of the river Styx, of course, which aren't necessarily pleasant, we don't have anything like this. But where are all the people? Are your beaches always so bare? No, they aren't. Technically speaking, this isn't really a public beach. It belongs to some heiress and her boyfriend. Their house is a little ways inland. But they almost never come down here. Supposedly, he doesn't really like the sand for whatever reason. Anyway, I used to sneak down here when I was younger to get a little bit of beach time to myself. I see. It's peaceful with the added flair of potentially being caught. I like it. You've done well, Taker. So, what do humans tend to do in a place like this? I'm glad you asked. With a grin, you pull off your shirt and toss off your sandals, Then you beckon Pandamonica to follow you as you jog down to the water. Something about the image of jogging Helltaker seems a little funny to me. I don't know why. I guess it's because he always stands with his fists to his sides and looks so, like, grim. Though hesitant at first, the demoness follows you. For a while, you are content to stand where it's shallow and watch the waves crash against your ankles. But soon, you take Pandamonica's hand and bring her further into the surf. From the look on her face, you gather that she's not a terribly experienced swimmer. So rather than bring her deep enough that the waves could sweep her away, you settle for sticking to where the water is only as high as your waist. This is surprisingly pleasant. Do you know how to swim, Taker? I do. Could you show me? Sure. Here, let me show you how to float on your back first. I myself am not much of a swimmer, although I did grow up kind of close to the beach. So I do have at least enough knowledge to kind of stay floating. But I look pretty awkward if I try to actually swim. Plus, you know, with the whole fire thing and all, getting myself full of water is not really a great thing, so I don't swim much these days. I'm going to directly contradict the lore I just set out a few streams. Just as you reach out to bring Pandamonica closer to you, something lands on the water between you. A familiar disc-shaped object. Is that? I think so. Look out, guys! Before you can react, Cerberus plows into the both of you at top speed, knocking you into the water. Somehow, you manage to snag Pandamonica under the water and drag her to the surface, cradled in your arms. Sorry. It's alright. Like hell it's alright, I could have drowned. Come here, you. Pandamonica squirms out of your grasp and launches herself at Cerberus. The trio scamper off at a surprising pace, and soon you find yourself chasing Pandamonica, who is, in turn, chasing Cerberus. Judgment and Azazel watch the scene unfold with dumbstruck expressions. Pandamonica, wait! I'll strangle them! Your chase brings you out onto the beach for a while Cerberus wisely realizes that the water is the safest place from Pandamonica. They charge into the surf, but Pandamonica follows after them. With a yelp, Cerberus tries to splash water into Pandamonica's face, hoping to make a swift escape when she's blinded, but the sleepy demon is not deterred. Pretty soon, a splash fight breaks out. Pandamonica enlists you, Azazel, and Judgment to help her overcome the boundless energy of her foe. Before long, the splash fight turns into an all-out splash war, which lasts until the sun begins to set. With daylight waning, you finally call it on the battle and head for the beach. The demons all follow suit, collapsing onto their towels with content expressions. You pass out sandwiches and wine to everyone. That's pretty decadent, isn't it? Wine on the beach. Most people bring beer, I think. Though you, Pandamonica, and Judgment savor your dinner, Cerberus scarfs down her food so that they can head down by the water and begin making sandcastles. Azazel, too, eats quickly so that she can return to the pools and examine the wildlife. Judgment is content to watch them for a time, but soon she too gets up, grumbling something about how they're doing it all wrong. Left alone, you and Pandamonica set your sights on the horizon, where the sunset has bathed the sky a deep shade of red. This is quite a romantic image, the picnic basket on the beach, curled together under one blanket. Ah, the passion of romance. Also, we got 2 CGs in this one chapter. Quite a haul. You know, you feel her scoot closer to you on the blanket and loop her arm around yours. We don't have sunsets in hell. I've certainly heard of them before, but I never imagined that one could be this beautiful. With a sigh, Pandamonica leans her head against your shoulder. Thank you for today, Taker. I've never felt so at peace. I hope that it lasts. Me too. This is everything I've ever wanted. I never asked to be what I am, to bear the curses that rest on my shoulders. I never asked for this, to be shown how human I was, and how much more I could become. None of us ever did. But we make the best with what we've been given. I just wish I could stay here forever. With you. As do I. You look out over the beach. Judgment and Cerberus are working hard to build the most impressive castle. Judgment is winning by a long shot, perhaps because Cerberus has chosen to build hers atop Azazel. The angel squirms too much to provide a solid foundation. Then, after a while, high tide sweeps in, and Cerberus's moat is flooded, knocking her castle over. She begins to pout, lamenting her loss. You realize that it will be time to head home before long. The thought of leaving this place is a bittersweet one. You aren't certain what will happen from here on out, but at least you'll have the memories you made here to look back on. Pandamonica looks up at you, seeming to realize that your time here is coming to an end. You meet her gaze, wishing you could read exactly what it is that's on her mind. Is it hope? Contentment? Melancholy? We must depart, mustn't we? I'm afraid so. Speaking of which, after this one, I may have to, I hate to say it, but I may have to stop after this one. My voice is not holding up particularly well. Don't know why that is. I could probably make it through one more, but I feel like I'm just getting a little scratchy. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. Pandamonica nods and you whistle for Cerberus, Azazel, and Judgment to come help pack everything up. Groggily, they stumble back up to the beach. As you gather your things, you keep an eye on Pandamonica, hoping to glean something from her expression. Though she avoids looking at you directly, you do manage to catch her eye just before you leave, only to be met with a sorrowful smile. Maybe that's why Helltaker wears those sunglasses, to hide where he's looking, maybe. For people watching. Thinking that this means you failed in your endeavor to relieve her of Hell's influence, you hang your head on the way to the car. Behind the wheel once again, you urge the car to life. Pandamonica sits in the passenger seat next to you, a look of concern etched onto her brow. You drive home in silence, save for the soft sound of Cerberus snoring in the back seat. Once you arrive, everyone files out of the car, drops their things in the living room, and heads off to bed with muttered goodnights. Good night, mortal. Night. Pandamonica lingers behind only a while longer, seemingly unable to articulate exactly what is on her mind. Taker, Don't worry about it, Pandamonica. At least we had today. But Yes, you're right. Good night. Good night. You let out a breath that you feel as though you've been holding in since that morning. Azazel passes you on her way to bed, patting you encouragingly on the back as she goes. maybe we can try something else another time? Yeah, maybe. And there we have it. It seemed like Pandamonica enjoyed the date, but once it was over, something was still weighing on her mind. It's possible the voices came back, and she just didn't want to bother Taker by telling him directly. Who knows? I guess we'll learn more whenever Part 4 is out. I think I am going to try to read one more. I'm going to take a quick break to get some more water, because I think I need it. And then when I come back, we'll go to Modeus' story. Give me just a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alright, as I mentioned before, my voice is just a little bit tired, but we're going to do at least one more. Since I am taking a break from streaming for the rest of the week, pretty much, that's because I have some holiday plans that don't really allow me to fit in much streaming time, unfortunately. Okay, so we finished Pandamonica's. We finished Melina's. Next we're gonna do Modeus's. To quickly set the stage for Modeus's, in the first date they went to a spa together, where Modeus acted rather strangely. On the second date, they went to a movie theater, and Taker kind of put his finger on what was going on. Modeus experiences everything in reverse, kind of, in terms of lust. So for her, something like a date or hand-holding is especially intimate. But something like actual, well, you can probably guess. The more intimate measures of dating are kind of just commonplace to her. So she talked about how hard her relationships have been because of that, because nobody else quite experiences things the same way she does. Anyways, Taker is taking her out for a third date, presumably. Let's see how it goes. In the wake of your last date with Modeus, and her confession therein, you've been forced to look for inspiration for your next date in an unconventional place. A yawn overtakes you as you adjust the way you are sitting up in bed. You've been this way for some time now, with copious pillows stacked at your back, and the book Tango Beneath the Moonlight resting in your lap. There are only a few pages left until the end of the book, so you simply can't bring yourself to stop now. And yet, you've been reading for so long that you're certain you should at least try to get some sleep. Just as the thought occurs to you, however, you hear a knock at your door. Hey, Taker! It's time to get up already. With a sigh, you hurl off the covers and pull back the curtains. Morning sunlight pours into your room at once, and you realize you've spent all night reading. Man, it's been a long time since I pulled all-nighter doing anything. Probably back in college was the last time I really did that. When I got out of college and got into the working world, my obligations to my employer were enough that I was sort of like, I can't make this a habit ever. So I always go to sleep, but unfortunately sometimes I do go to sleep way later than I should. It's practically the same thing as staying up all night. You attempt to shake off the drowsiness just long enough to answer the door. Yeah, sorry. I'm up. Good. It isn't like you to sleep in. See that it doesn't happen again, okay? Right. Lucifer strides off down the hallway and towards the kitchen, while you retreat back into your room. You eye the open book sitting cattywampus atop your covers, and decide that it's best if you finish it later, lest you earn the wrath of the Queen of Hell. With that in mind, you decide to get ready for the day, and make your way down to breakfast. When you arrive, you see that Pandemonica and Modeus are there as well. They are making light conversation with one another, but you are too preoccupied with your own thoughts to participate. That book you snagged from Modeus, with her permission of course, has given you many ideas, enough to formulate a plan for your next date. A plan that you hope to put into action this afternoon. Suddenly excited by the prospect, you scarf down your breakfast and excuse yourself from the table. Where are you off to? Yeah, you seem to be in a bit of a hurry today, Taker. You turn towards the women, shooting a meaningful glance at the ladder. Modeus at once seems to understand the cause of your excitement and blushes. I've got some errands to run today. How very pedestrian of you, Taker. Where are you off to, if I may ask? The mall. Why? I've got some things I've been meaning to pick up, but if you don't mind getting them for me, I'd be grateful. Sure, that shouldn't be a problem. Did somebody say mall? With a raspy laugh, Zedrada enters the kitchen through a curtain of smoke. Pandemonica waves the smog away from her face with a grimace. Zedrada, how many times must I ask you to please refrain from smoking in the kitchen of all places? Zedrada waves off Pandemonica's protestations, dropping ash onto the tile floor in the process. If you're headed to the mall, piss taker, I'd like you to pick up some things for me. Seriously? Yeah, wait right there. I made a list. Before you can object any further, Zedrada races off. I don't know how I feel about being everyone's errand boy. So what sort of boy would you rather be? Or a pool boy, perhaps? Modeus giggles. Ooh, an affair with the pool boy. I like the sound of that. Yes, well, sadly, we don't have a pool. Aw. An investment for the future, then. Just then, Zedrada bounds back into the kitchen with all the subtlety of an explosive. Aha! Here you are, now be a good boy and fetch me what I need. The demon presents to you a crumpled up piece of paper, stained with marinara sauce and bearing an official-looking letterhead from some sort of real estate office. You squint your eyes at the scribbles, trying to make out exactly what has been written. The longer you stare, however, the more your head begins to hurt. How the hell am I supposed to read this? And where did you get this paper from? It looks like business stationery. That's not important. Can you get this stuff for me? Once I figure out what it says, sure. Hand it over. Let me see. Pandemonica studies the paper with Medeus peeking over her shoulder. For hell's sake, Zadrade, I can hardly tell if these letters are supposed to be Grecian or Enochian. Yeah, you really need to brush up on your mortal penmanship. Oh, for crying out loud, can you get the stuff or not, shit-taker? Yeah, sure he can, if he wants to get put on some sort of FBI watch list, of course. This list is undoubtedly the ingredients for some sort of explosive bioweapon. He'll be fine. Just don't buy everything at the same place and use cash. I don't understand what the issue is here. Come on, Taker, don't be a stick in the mud. Is one little list really too much for you? You purse your lips and stuff the list into your pocket. Fine, I'll get the stuff off of your list. But you better not ask me for anything else for a while, got it? Casually acquires bomb parts for his girlfriend. What a Chad. Sweet. You'll need to lay low after you buy that stuff anyway, Taker. Zadrade claps you on the back and departs. What about your list, Pandemonica? Oh, I've already emailed it to you. Check your phone. Don't worry, it's legible. And legal. Thanks. Well, I'm off. I'll see you guys soon. Farewell. You start to head up to your room to gather your things, but a tug at your elbow stops you in your tracks. Taker? Yes, Medeus? Before you go, I wanted to ask, is this about, our date? You smile and pat her on the head affectionately. You'll see. Just be patient. I've got some ideas. Blushing, Medeus nods and scampers off. Pandemonica, initially pretending as though she hadn't been eavesdropping on your interaction, smiles knowingly in your direction, before escaping as well with a fresh cup of coffee. Without further ado, you snag your shoes and keys from your room, and make your way down to the mall. On the way, your thoughts return to Medeus' confession. More than ever, you hope this idea of yours pans out. But first, there is something you need to get. The search of which has brought you to the mall, and more specifically, a dress shop, Gowns of Rasphodel. Man, look at this mall. On one hand, it's much fancier than any mall that I've seen and much cleaner. On the other hand, it's just as empty as the malls that I see normally. To me, there is nothing sadder than the death of the malls in America. I know it's maybe a little silly, because I shouldn't have any particular affection for malls. It's really just a business plan that isn't working these days. But there is something very sad about just seeing a mall that's completely empty and devoid of traffic. Anyways, the search of which has brought you to the mall, and more specifically a dress shop, Gowns of Rasphodel. There, a kind associate manages to piece together your disjointed thoughts and non-specific ramblings into something that you hope Medeus will love. She even offers to wrap it for you. It's funny, you would think that now that we're entering another shop, they would have Abby be the shopkeeper, since that's sort of been like the running theme in this game so far. But not this time. You leave the shop, feeling altogether more confident, now that your idea is becoming a reality. Before you can go home, however, you must complete the lists thrust upon you by Zadrada and Pandemonic. Fortunately, you managed to complete both without raising too much suspicion. Afterward, you load everything into your car and head home to find Modeus sitting impatiently in the living room. She jumps to your feet as soon as you walk in. I know you said to wait and be patient, but I just have to know what it is you plan to do, Taker. So please. Hey, what's that? She nods at the long box tucked under your arm. Is that for me? Mm-hmm. Can I open it now? Huh. Well, our date isn't for another hour or so. You look into Modeus's expectant gaze and grin. But I suppose I can let you have a little sneak peek of what's to come. Here. Modeus takes the box from you and, without much pomp or circumstance, rips the wrapping off of it. Before long, she's got the box in shambles on the ground and is holding in her hands a beautiful black dress, simply adorned with glitter and sequins. Her eyes grow wide as she holds it aloft. Do you want to try it on? Without thinking, the demon nods furiously and strips right there in the living room. Moments later, she's standing before you, admiring the dress as it hugs her body. What do you think? Does it fit well? Taker, it's amazing. And it fits perfectly. But why? What's this for? Oh, you'll see. No more waiting. You chuckle. Alright, I suppose it'll be okay if we're a little early. Let me just get changed and then we can go, alright? Changed into something other than a white suit and red shirt? I didn't think he owned other clothes. Go where? Taker, don't walk away from me. Where are we going? Before Modeus can catch you, you disappear into your room and emerge sometime later dressed in a sharp red suit with a black button-up shirt that matches Modeus' new dress. He's gone dark badly. Little Umaniko reference. Oh, wow. I like that face. That slightly horny face. You look great. Ready to go? In response, Modeus slides up next to you and loops her arm around yours. Together, you make your way to the car and pull off. You still haven't told me where we're going. Like I've said, you'll see. Fine. You smile to yourself as you drive into the downtown area. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Modeus trying to suss out her whereabouts using familiar landmarks. Thinking that you'll keep the mystery up a little while longer, you decide to make a couple of unnecessary turns and take a more roundabout way to get to your destination. Helltaker, master of foreplay. Try doing this with your own date. Just drive her around in random directions and see if she's into it. At long last, however, you pull into the parking lot before a solid brick building. The sign out front reads, Tatiana's International Tango Studio. Right away, Modeus reads the sign and gasps. Is this it? It is. We're going to learn to tango? We are. Modeus grabs your arm and squeezes. You can't tell at first if she's excited, apprehensive, or both. Are you ready? At this, Modeus turns to you and you can see behind her eyes an expression of boundless elation. She nods furiously. I love it. I was hoping you might. I thought learning to do the tango together might toe the line between romance and sensuality, just enough that lets you step out of your comfort zone at your own leisure. And who knows, we might end up being amazing at it. He does already look dressed to tango, doesn't he? With the corsage and the white suit. Anyway, we should head inside. I took the scenic route to get here, so our lesson should be starting soon. Needing no further prompting, Modeus bounds out of the car and seizes you by the arm on your way into the studio. Once inside, you are approached by a lithe, sharply dressed woman. Welcome, I am Tatiana, and you must be my next appointment. That we are. Excellent. The woman stomps her feet and claps twice in the air in a flourish. Now, if you'll just follow me. As Tatiana leads the way further into the studio, you feel Modeus grip your arm tighter than ever. Afraid that this is a signal for the demon getting cold feet, you look back, only to be met with a pair of heart-shaped eyes staring intently back at you. Is everything okay? Yes. I'm just nervous. Nervous? Why's that? You did all of this for me. What if it doesn't work? If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. But for now, don't worry about it, okay? Even if we don't continue this in the future, let's just have fun with it today. Alright? Okay. With that, you head into the dance room. Tatiana hands you both a pair of dance shoes and leads you out onto the floor, where you're surrounded by large wall-to-wall mirrors on two sides. Let us begin. First things first, allow me to introduce you to the 4 principal moves in dance, from which all steps are based. At once, you and Modeus are enraptured with the lesson. This is a pretty nice image. I like the look on her face. To begin with, Tatiana shows you the absolute basics, which is to be expected for a couple of beginners, of course. However, things progress quickly into something more advanced when it becomes clear that Modeus is, much to your surprise, an absolute natural. The demon masters each new step with ease, and contorts her body with a level of poise and flexibility only seen in masters of their craft. Both you and the instructor are left completely awestruck by the display. Miss, are you absolutely certain that you've never had any lessons before? None at all. Why do you ask? Though the instructor scratches her head in disbelief, she has no choice but to shrug and proceed with the lesson. No reason. You and Modeus breeze through a 2-hour session in the blink of an eye. By the end, you are exhausted in ways you can't even believe. Your calves ache and your arms feel like jello. Modeus, meanwhile, looks better than ever. As a matter of fact, she's absolutely glowing. You've never seen her smile so much before. She even pouts when the instructor announces the end of your lesson. With heavy hearts, you both bid well to Tatiana and start your journey home. Next to you in the car, Modeus is fidgeting happily. I take it you enjoyed yourself. I've never done dance before, and the tango is so... In a fit of ecstasy, the demon shudders. Sensual. I'm glad to hear that. Maybe we can go back next week. Yes, please. I'd like that very much. Good. It seems like this is exactly what you've needed. It is. But it's also so much more than just the dancing. It's knowing that you really listened. I don't think anyone has ever done that for me before. But you did. You heard what I had to say, and you went out of your way to do something with everything I told you in mind. That's what means the most to me, Taker. That, more than anything, is what I needed. So, thank you. Really. You open your mouth to reply, but as if voicing her gratitude wasn't enough, Medea slips her hand in yours and laces your fingers together. Hand-holding. Luckily, I put up that warning for mild sauciness because, woo-wee. Shocked, you turn to the demon for answers, but she's too busy staring out the opposite window to meet your gaze. Nevertheless, you spy a reddening to her cheeks. It would seem that you two still have a long way to go. Yeah, we got pretty lewd here at the end. I mean, this is a third date after all. I guess at this point maybe hand-holding is okay. But just to be safe, before you hold your girlfriend's hand, wait till at least the 5th or 6th date. But this moment, with her hand in yours, also, hey, Dual Boy, I don't think I agreed, is a good step in the right direction. You're welcome, Medeus. Unfortunately, that's really all I think I can get through today. We've been going for about 2.5 hours. That's not a terribly long stream, admittedly, but my voice is kind of giving way. I guess it's just all the reading. I can only really get so far before my voice starts cracking a little bit. But it's been fun. Some of the dates were very, very romantic. So if you're into that kind of like romance, mushy stuff, then this was the development for you. Next time around, we will do Cerberuses, we'll do Zadradas, Azazels, Justices, Lucifers, and Judgments. So we've still got plenty to look forward to. And if I look up how to get the Beelzebubs, maybe we'll do that too. It must be hidden somewhere. Let's go ahead and save our data. And here we go. Alright. Thanks again for joining me today, and we will quickly take a look at who is available to raid. Seems like there's several people on right now. Who would be best? Who do we want to raid? Who would be good? Give me just a moment to finish looking over stuff. You know who I haven't watched in a really long time? I've not watched Mercury Mimic in a really long time, and he is streaming right now Devil May Cry, which is a very nice seg from Helltaker into more devil stuff. So let's go all out on the devils tonight and go visit Mercury Mimic. Let me just make sure real quick that he isn't about to end stream or something. Yeah, it's been a really long time since I managed to catch one of his streams. But he's a pretty cool guy. You'll probably see him in all sorts of streams, chatting and stuff like that. Last stream I saw of his was a karaoke, but this is, of course, the classic action series featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, hopefully you'll tune in for part 4. If not, I do have a much more action-y game planned in the very near future, so keep your eyes open for that. Of course, I still love visual novels, but every now and then you just crave some slashing too, so we'll get that stuff in too. Alright, let's see. I think it's okay. Yep, we'll go ahead and get that raid going. Thanks again for joining me. You know what's really funny though? I just typed the name as Mercury of Bottle. For one thing, he's no longer Bottle of Mercury. For another thing, that's backwards. Okay, let's type it correctly. Okay, thanks again for joining me. See you folks next time, and have a great rest of your week and a Merry Christmas.